Think different, live different. V180.
V180.
Hello, Mel with you today, right here, Living Different at V180 for another podcast. And we are so glad to have Jet Trouble joining us today all the way from Dallas in Texas. Now, if you've heard his music before, you know that this guy has such a great blend of honesty, soul, and his faith, all wrapped up in a sound that is fresh, but still really grounded and raw. He's just about to put out his brand new album, An Honest Prayer, packed with songs that are really deep, emotional, and where he's really opened up his heart and soul. We're playing his track Praise right here on V180. You are going to love it, and I cannot wait to get into it. Jet, thank you for joining us on the show today. It's been a long time. I don't think we've had you on V180 maybe 3 or 4 years. How you going?
I'm doing great. Life has been busy. A lot has happened in the last 3 years that we haven't been able to catch up and chat, but a lot of good stuff. God's been at work, and I can't complain.
So what have you been up to, in summary, over the last 3 years?
Yeah, we put out an album. So we put out Though None Go. I think that was the end of 2022 or early 2023. I can't remember.
Yeah.
We had it. I think the last time we talked, we had a couple singles out prior to the release, and we were kind of gearing up for the album.
Yes.
Album came out, worked it, did everything we could on our end. And as an independent artist, there's only so much that you can do, honestly. And God just really took a hold of the album and really let some songs just take off, and it was really special. Where to Find Me had a big moment, and it's amassed, I think, over 10 million streams at Spotify now.
That's awesome.
Some of the other songs have just done extremely well, and so we've essentially, I think, since the last time we've talked, we've grown our listeners by 4 or 5x, and so
that's so good.
Yeah, he's just put his hand on the music, and been able to share my story and let it minister to others. And so I feel really blessed.
Yeah, so good. Well, let's talk about some of your recent releases, because you've been putting out track after track. We're loving Praise. We're playing that one on V180 at the moment. That's my favorite. Can you tell us a little bit of inspo around this one?
Yeah. So obviously working on the new album. I'm going to shameless plug here. Album's out in 10 days.
Yeah, 10 days. Yeah. So good.
And so Praise was a really special song. I had a working rough draft of it that I had written that I thought was really cool, but it just, I don't know how to explain it. It just wasn't there. It didn't feel right. And so I connected with a writer out of Nashville named Nick Schwartz. We had done a couple songs in the past together, and I sent it over to him, and he was like, man, I love this. Like, let's recreate it and get together and get in the room. And so I took a trip out to Nashville, obviously here based in Dallas. We plugged away at it, and it turned out to be something really special. And so we put it out, and it's been the best performing song as far as like from release to a month in now that it's been.
Wow.
It's outperformed everything I've put out. So it's been really a great response to that. But Nick was I credit Nick to being the mastermind behind really bringing it to life, and so helping co-write it and produce it out. And so it was fun.
Well, you guys make a great team, because that's my favorite that I've heard so far. It's really good.
Yeah, it is. It's a favorite. It's a favorite amongst a lot of people, so you're not alone in that.
Awesome. And your new album, I'm so stoked. I cannot wait to hear it. An Honest Prayer is out June 12th. Can you share us a little bit about, I guess, what's the main message that you want to get across on this album?
Yeah, really, the last 2-3 years since the last project, I've gone through a lot of adversity, right? Like, I don't know if you were able to hear I Need You, but I lost my dad to ALS 2 years ago, and that was just a crazy battle to walk through. It's an awful disease, and so I Need You was birthed out of that. And, me and my wife, transparently, you'll hear it on the album. We talk a little bit about it, but, we had a couple of miscarriages and lost a baby. And
so sorry.
And so just a lot of walking through valleys, right? And God, where are you at? What are you doing? This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't align with what I'm reading and what I'm hearing, and I can't make sense of it. And so this album really, the main theme, the main point is, hey God, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of trouble, I'm going to choose to believe that you're good, even though I don't see it right now. And I think a lot of times as artists, as even people in ministry, people that are sharing testimonies, you always hear about being on the other side of something, right? Where, man, I walked through this, but then God had me at this place in this mountaintop, and it just was amazing. And you hear about the triumph. And for me, I really wanted to share, hey, I'm in the middle of an awful season that has felt like it's lasted too long. But you know what? God is still good. And so that's really the theme of this album. I say that it's not necessarily a super somber album. There is, definitely some upbeat songs like praise and stuff, but really hoping that it ministers to those that are walking through hard things that are really saying, hey, God, where are you? And so it's really near and dear, special to my heart. It's been a labor of love, obviously, for some time now, and I can't wait to share it with everybody.
I can't wait to hear it. And I can totally relate to that. I lost my dad last year, and when I heard I Need You, it got me all teary as well, because it's tough. It's really hard losing a parent or a friend or someone close to you. And I know that there's a lot of people that are going through that, and a lot of hardships at the moment with the financial pressures and the cost of living. I know there's a lot of people that are really struggling. If they are in that moment right now, what's some encouragement that you could give to them? Like, how did you hold on to Jesus even though life is really tough?
Yeah. The best advice that I got, that I try and convey in this album, that I encourage everybody to take, is be honest, be vulnerable with God. Hence the title of the album, right? An honest prayer. The intro track you'll hear when it comes out, it's me just being honest and real with God. And, there are moments of anger and frustration, and God can take those emotions, right? He would rather us be real with them than come dressed up or put on this front that, everything's okay when it's not. And if you're real and vulnerable with God, he'll meet you where you're at. And it's just staying in communication. I think a lot of times we think, okay, I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm just going to take a step back. And really, it's the opposite that we need to do. We need to lean in, we need to be vulnerable, we need to be honest, and take it and put it at the feet of Jesus. And sometimes it's like having a hard conversation in prayer, and where the only thing you can say is, God, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I'm mad. Why? And just bringing that to him. And I think it does something special. It allows the relationship, the communication to take place, right? Where you can do a work in your heart. And so, yeah. Wow,
that's great. Is there something that God has been teaching you lately, whether personally or through the process of making this album? Is there something that really stands out to you that God has been speaking to you?
For sure. I think, I was talking to my wife the other day, and it was funny. I said, I wrote this album, and I know that God's going to use it to minister to so many different people, but I feel like I'm still listening to it myself and having it minister to me each and every day, right? Yeah. And which is special. But I think God is continuously teaching me, hey, put it at the feet of Jesus. Kind of like I said, there are a lot of heavy things in this life. There is, if it's not one thing, there's going to be another thing. And to carry the weight, to carry the stress of it, we're not built for that, right? Like, we're not supposed to carry those burdens. We're supposed to lay those down And so that's something for me that I struggle immensely with. I take things on myself, and it puts me it gets me in a weird place, and I'm just realizing, hey, I can hand those over, and I don't have to be captive to the heaviness of the situation, right?
Yeah. It's a hard lesson to learn. It's not easy.
Learning it every day, work in progress kind of thing. And so,
is there a track on the album that, you've mentioned a few already, but is there a track that is especially meaningful to you that stands out, one of your favorites?
Yeah, I would say the intro into the second track, where it's basically a prayer to God into a resolve of God, you're good even when I don't understand, is really special. Very, very emotional, and I love it. I get very personal. I share a little bit about where I've been the last couple of years, and it's just a very emotional, very heartfelt track. I'd say outside of that, it's the first love song I've written for my wife is on this album. Called Infinity. I'll say first love song that I've put out to the public, right? And so really excited about that. She loves it, which just even if nobody else likes it or listens to it, I'm like, my wife likes it, worth it, right? And so they all mean something different to me, and they all have their own special place in my heart, right? I'm excited to see what's going to resonate with the listeners. It's always interesting. It's always the tracks that you don't expect, right? And so,
Way Out is a favorite on V180. We're still playing that one. Can you tell us a bit about that track?
Yeah, Way Out was, there are songs that you come across that just write themselves. And I'm sure you've heard other artists maybe say that. Way Out was one of those where, I came across the production and it just was so easy to write. And then we got in the studio and it was so easy to track, and it took no time to put together, and it felt good. And it's more high energy than a lot of the songs that I put out prior to it. And what I love about it is it's essentially an anthem to, like, God's got me, right? No matter what's going on, God's got me. He's got a way out of this situation for me. He's got my back. And so, that is one of those songs that was like, I really feel like God just kind of deposited it,
So cool.
It wasn't anything I sat on for months and stewed over. It was like, I sat down, I wrote the song in probably less than an hour.
Wow.
And it just came out really special. And so, it's been neat to see the response on that. I mean, people love it. And I get messages all the time. Oh, this is our, we're playing this walkout music at church, or, this is, windows down, road trip, it's just great. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? This might be very naive, but I've never asked. When artists say, can you pre-save my album? How does a pre-save actually help the artist?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I've learned that recently.
Okay.
So this album is really the first time that I have talked about and pushed, hey guys, help me out, pre-save. It's an easy button click at Spotify or Apple or whatever. And my manager Keelan, he is very well versed in what's happening, what's going on, the latest trends, what's going on with algorithms, right? Stuff like that. So the best way I can explain it without getting too into the weeds here is years ago, the algorithm really favored editorial playlists, right, with digital streaming platforms. Now, really how they're gauging how they're going to put you into the algorithm and how the songs are going to be maneuvered is basically streams first couple weeks of a release, right? So if your song is streaming well the first couple weeks of release, it's going to raise some flags over at over at Spotify and they're going to put it in more places in front of more people, right? So what these pre-saves do is you pre-save the project. When the album comes out, you're going to be notified, right? Where you listen to music, and it's going to be put into your, I guess, your discovery playlist, however you're consuming. And it's going to serve as a reminder to people to stream. It's going to, however many pre-saves have, right? Like those people are all going to be notified. They're all going to stream probably the day or the week of that it comes out. Yeah. And it's just boost those numbers so you can have some success later on algorithmically. Right. And so I'm still learning it, honestly. Like it feels like these things change every couple. It's
always changing, eh?
Yeah. And so lucky for me, I've got people on my team that are like, all right, this is what we need to do. This is what's going to favor us. And so that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So those first few weeks is really like so important when an album comes out.
It is. It really is telling of how it sets the tone for how the song is going to perform. And obviously there's outliers, right? Like I've had songs where months down the road, like it picks up and it like Where to Find Me was like that, right? Where it just picked up out of the blue months down the road and gained traction. But more so than not now, you can typically tell how a song is going to perform pretty early.
There you go, guys. Pre-save his album. Get on that.
Yes.
And once Honest Prayer is out and it's done, you're already done all the hard work now. What's next for you? Are you going to move straight on to the next project? Are you touring? Are you promoting? What's next for Jet?
Yeah. The big thing that we're working on now is we are actually servicing and taking I Need You to radio. And so that's exciting. Awesome. That's a big thing that we're pushing. We've hired a team behind us to go take that to radio to get more people listening to that and put that in more places. So that's a big thing we're doing. We just signed to UTA, which it's a booking agency. They've got artists like Brandon Lake, Elevation, Force Frank, guys like that. Awesome. And so we recently just signed with them, and so hopefully some new shows and bookings and maybe some festivals here in the near future. And honestly, in this time in music, you've always got to be creating. So it's after this album comes back, it's gonna be back to the studio, back to writing some more songs and getting some things out. And so we've got a lot of different things working, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, well, I'm so excited. It's so nice to be on this journey with you from like when you're just kind of getting into it and to now. And then I'm sure next time we chat, you'll be even bigger and you'll be doing an Australian tour.
And you can say, I interviewed him back when.
I know him. Thanks for your time. We so appreciate it. And I'm so stoked to hear this album. I cannot wait.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa. You guys have been such a great support, and I'm so grateful for you guys.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.